Welcome back trackside once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight for the final time here in season number 1. The Masters of the Draft kick things off for the final 500 right here from Talladega Super Speedway, one of the granddaddies of them all. We've got high speeds, high stakes action coming at you here quickly here tonight. We're going to dive right into things. Final few moments of a happy hour ticking off the stopwatch. Track temperature pretty hot out there, 123 degrees. We'll see if these old school Gen 4 machines stay glued to the track. Speaking of track, before we head track side for your national anthem, what do you say we take a little look at how things unfolded earlier here today in the U.S. Veterans Pole Award session, walking away with the final pole position of the season. Sean Bounty going to pick up his third in a row. The Fast 34 will start from the front of this field. Al Likens with a great qualifying effort here as well. Drivers going to make their way to the starting grid. We're going to take a brief break, head trackside for the national anthem. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting out, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And quickly, the drivers make their way down the backstretch. Let's run down your starting lineup for the final race here in season number 1 for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Starting inside roll, I can't talk. Maybe you can do it for me. I don't know. Sean Bounty going to take the final pole position here in the season as they head through 3 and 4. Greg Thompson just to his outside. Al Likens, Daryl Johnson back in row 2. Row number 3 here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, Andrew Moore and Travis Gilbert. Ray Lane and Jacob Drift, row number 4. Back in row number 5, the 88 of Sam Taylor, followed by Dakota Bailey. Bailey hasn't been to victory lane in quite some time. We'll keep our eye on him, see if he doesn't have what it takes to get back to victory lane here tonight. Scott Wise and Joe Wells going to make up row number 6. A little further back through the field, William Britton starting inside row number 9. Richard Smith rounding out your top 20. And that's going to do it for your starting lineup as drivers head to the restart zone. For the first time here tonight, we go green flag racing from Talladega Super Speedway. 188 laps, 500 miles. That's a long way. 500 miles. I mean, think about sitting in your car and driving 500 miles straight through. I mean, it's gonna be a tough task for these drivers to keep their focus. And already you can see a handful of guys heading to the rear of the field, not wanting to mix it up at the front. Will stay side by side for the first time halfway down the backstretch. Drivers are going to have a lot more to manage here tonight as we make our way back through the triangle around the front stretch here at Talladega Super Speedway for the first time up to speed. Drivers are going to be pushing those speeds of upwards of 200 miles an hour getting into these corners. It's going to take 2 to 3 laps for them to build up that top-notch potential. When it comes to the speeds here tonight, you can see drivers already wanting to utilize a little bit of run. I believe that's the 24 of Dakota Bailey on the outside lane. Ducks back in, about 5th car outside lane, trying to get some momentum going 3 wide around that 7th position. Now side-by-side racing action at the front. But a change for the race lead. Greg Thompson going to put that familiar King of Bud 08 at the front of the field, inside lane. There you can see outside now Daryl Johnson, familiar face as of late at the front of these fields, making a charge to the front, gonna miss it at the line, but surge forward as we head back into 1. 3rd lane really starting to make some headway at the top of the racetrack. Bailey bringing him to the front. The 73 of Tay McDonald right there with him. McDonald, one of the newer drivers in the series as well, but making a name for him here. Not scared to go 3 wide early. Lap number 3 into turn number 3. Bailey surges at the top. Thompson at the bottom, still with the race lead. Middle lane starts to work their way through. You want to know what it's like in a race car 3 wide Talladega? There you go. Riding with the second driver in line, middle lane. Travis Gilbert behind the wheel of the number 2 vet to track machine. Absolutely gripping the wheel right now. Little bit of movement out of the drivers in front of him. You can see right there that I believe that is going to be the 34. Yes, it is the 34 of Sean Poundy right there inside lane, running that DuPont paint scheme. Look for him to stay at the front. He's been there these past handful of weeks, so look for your pole sitter to be a factor later on here tonight. Still 3 wide racing as we jump outside of the car. Turn number 3. Things getting heated at the top. Contact, and we got 1 around. Contact, 1 around. Caution to get a fly for the first time here tonight. Tay McDonald going to take a trip to the outside wall. Getting a thumbs up on the replay, so let's jump to your little rescue replay here. There you can see going around at the top after Dakota Bailey got a little bit sideways in front of him. Let's see if, guys, do we got the drone cam on that one? Can we? All right, let's go look high above here. There you can see up the track goes Bailey to 93, also up the track. And unfortunately, 73, he's going to be the one caught up and taking the most damage, the brunt of the blow, if you will. Able to continue on, so that's a good sign. No smoke pouring out of those side pipes. So the engine looks good, body doesn't. Know a few people like that. Never mind. We'll move on. Back live at the front of the field, race leader Greg Thompson catches up to the tail end of the pace car here tonight for the final time this season. Got to give a big shout out to a great buddy and a friend of ours, manning the pace car for multiple races for us this season. So as the fans begin to fill up the seat sold-out packed house here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama, one of the big houses of restrictor plate racing. And if you haven't really been to a track, if you haven't been to a track, period, get the full experience. Go to Talladega. Get in the infield. I am telling you, there is. You've heard of Mardi Gras? Well, you you haven't got, you haven't seen nothing until you've been on Talladega Boulevard. Telling you. Anyways, we're gonna get back on track here. Top 10 drivers going to stay out on the track under caution for the first time here tonight after contact at the front of the field stacked them up. Interesting to see not a ton of drivers really involved, only about 4 or 5 involved with the accident at the front of the field. So a great job of avoidance from the majority of the part for a vast majority of the field. To take a look at our championship contenders. Where are they running? Where are they at? Coming into tonight's race, Scott Wise sitting top of the point standings in this Gen 4 4-week mini season. For the moment, Wise rounding out the top 5 behind the wheel of that 31 machine. Al Likens, who came into tonight's race sitting just 1 point out, sitting back in third. So at the moment, Likens is listed as your Gen 4 season points leader. Joe Wells, as well as Dylan Picklesheimer, still within striking distance. They're going to need a race win. They're going to need to lead a handful of laps here tonight as well. Wells coming into tonight's race, 22 points back. Picklesheimer, 25 points back, running in the 15th position, making some headway as far as those points are concerned. But with what we've seen over the course of the past 2 weeks, especially when it comes to Wise, he's been very quick, and he has a pair of wins in this 4-week mini season. So you can't count out that 31. Al Likens with some great finishes here in these Gen 4 machines as well. So 2 very tough competitors, and that's why they're going to duke it out with a very close points battle right now. The nod in favor of Likens for the moment, but it's going to change rather quickly. You can see him lined up nose to tail inside lane. As the pace car lights are off, boss man in the flag stand, given the 1 to go for the first time here tonight. Joshua Norwood going to take the pace car back down pit road. And again, a long way to go here tonight. Still over 180 laps. Drivers with just 1 fast repair, 1 quick fix. So you got to be methodical. You got to know when to really take those runs and when to just kind of back it down. A long, long way to go. We're only about 15 miles into tonight's 500-mile race. So again, it's not about what you can do right now. You gotta be there at the end, right? That's the key. Every lap, you gotta turn every lap. Be there at the end. Position yourself near the closing stages of this race. And that's where you're going to find that opportunity to get to victory lane. Do we got sleepers in the field here tonight, or do we have drivers wanting to stay at the front? We're fixing to find out. Front row looks the same as the start of tonight's race, just flip-flop. Bound to get a start to the inside with Thompson, your race leader. On the bottom of the racetrack. Long way to go to get there, but we will indeed get there, and here we go. Green flag racing once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. See a much different restart already here. Inside lane, not getting going very well. Up the racetrack goes Thompson, trying to get some of that momentum. But it's not going to pan out. It's not going to pay off for him. Jacob Drift going to tuck tail right in behind to that 34 machine to the high side. They got the 77, I believe that is Andrew Moore on the high side of the Wise Golf. machine, and they're gonna drop him like a bad habit. Used him up and left him high and dry on the high side. And I bet you more's gonna remember that towards the end of tonight's race. Ran him up there to the front and left him high and dry to fend for himself. A little bit of help coming to the aid of those 4 cars at the front. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lined up on that outside lane with about 10 lined up to the inside, so no real number advantage just yet. But quickly, what looked to be like a single file run here opens up back to 3 wide racing towards the mid-pack. Jason Branch right there behind the wheel of that Barbie Mobile. Once again, can he get the job done? No, I'm just joking. That's a terrible joke. Terrible. 2, 3 wide with drivers jockeying for positions. Drivers heading towards the rear. Your U.S. Veterans Poll Award winner behind the wheel of that Pepsi, number 34. Dropping back through the field. Looks to be running just around that 8th position now. Back off of turn number 2. We roll down the back stretch. Once again, everybody chasing after the Drift King. Jacob Drift brings him to turn number 3. We've got a lot of good drivers in this field. We've got a lot of good drivers back here at the rear of the field as well. On board now with that number 12 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer, one of the fast guys in this series. You can see your overall season champion right behind him. Joe Wells sitting around that 18th position, so not in a hurry at the moment. Just a little look around the track. We're going to jump outside of the car again and back around. Let's head back to the front. 3 wide racing, 4 rows deep, right around that 7th position. Gotta wonder how drivers are going to maintain these temperatures as well, with the track temperature being 123 degrees. The heat that these machines are generating, that track temperature indeed is on the rise. And how would these engines fare? How are they going to hold on tucked up, packed up like this? You're going to have to be mindful. You're going to have to be very cognizant of what's going on with that water as well as oil temperature here. You don't want to pop the cap in the middle of a pack, really. We'll see how drivers navigate their way through this very long night of racing. If you haven't got your popcorn and drinks ready, go ahead and grab them now. 3 wide racing action, and we see no sign of it stopping anytime soon. Bonham Lane with the advantage for the moment. Jacob Drift going to lead them back across the stripe. The 14 with a 3rd lap led. Still 3 wide racing all throughout this field. Let's take a look back at the DraftKings 23 machine being piloted by Richard Smith just behind Mark Ackerman, running that inside lane. Ackerman with a good run so far here tonight, up 16 positions from where he qualified. So a great night so far here tonight. On board now with the 31 machine of Scott Wise. Looking back at that number 2 machine of Travis Gilbert. A lot of movement out of these machines. We're seeing a lot of wiggling going on. You can hear some lifting as well on those throttle points. 2, 3, looking for 4 wide for a moment. Will Gilbert put the nose to the inside of Wise? Not going to take a look heading into the corner yet. It looks to be a little too early to go 4 wide for Gilbert. Bounty still holding strong on that middle lane, trying to work his way back to the point. Travis Gilbert pulling along the 17. Oh, and into the outside wall. The brute number 17 machine into the outside wall. That's going to slow the roll of Gilbert as well, jumping to the high side now. I believe that's going to be Dylan Picklesheimer. Yes, it is. Picklesheimer to the top. Still 3 wide. Back into the corner once again. Top 3 rows. All side by side. Inside lane. Still hold and serve. Still where you want to be. Your best friend is that double yellow line on the inside of the racetrack. A little bit of a moment there for the 94 machine. He's going to collect it. Head to the inside lane. Drivers bailing from the middle. Scott Wise continues to hold on to the tail end of Bounty. They're going to head back into turns 1 and 2. Still fighting it out for the race lead. Outside lane losing a little bit of ground. Interesting to see those 4 machines lose ground to the 2. Nose to tail. Wise has got to watch it here. Wise has got to keep an eye on that temperature. And into the outside wall. Yet again, another driver with trouble into the outside wall into 3 and 4. And we got more trouble behind. More trouble behind. Big trouble. Daryl Johnson going to get caught up and involved in this one. You can see the 93 machine around heading to the inside. Doesn't hit the wall. Very close right there. Let's go. Check the replay real quick. The little rescue replay. There you can see contact between the 64 and the 93. Sent to 93 across the track. Comes up, collects a handful of guys. Dakota Bailey going to get collected once again. Bailey collected once again here in 3 and 4. So that's going to be 2 cautions. And both times Bailey will be involved. With a long night of racing, I don't want to say you want to have your trouble early, but if you're going to have the trouble, why not make it early, right? Why not give yourself some kind of opportunity to make it up? Still a long road ahead of these drivers here tonight as we open pit road. This time around, caution number 2 of the night brings things to a crawl here in the final 500 for the Masters of the Draft. Season number 1 and down to the inside. Looks like Jacob Drift may be bringing the entire field to pit road. So as we find ourselves under caution for the first time here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, we're going to take a brief commercial break. Get a few of the sponsors paid up here tonight. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And back live trackside once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Promise not missing any of the green flag action here tonight. Under caution for the second time here. Everybody gonna head to pit road. Little bit of gamesmanship out there tonight. Mark Ackerman in that 37 machine gonna take the top spot with just a fuel only, a 2-tire fuel only stop here. Gonna get him all the way to the front of the field, up 18 positions from where he qualified. So look for that 37 to try to keep that CarQuest machine up at the front of the field. Greg Thompson going to start just behind him. Scott Wise, third car in line, inside the lane. Jacob Drifter, pole sitter Sean Bounty sitting second car outside lane in the 44 of Ray Lane for the first time tonight. Inside of the top 8 as drivers make their way out of 4. Pace car going to duck off. And we're going to fire this thing off once again here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. Here we go. Bossman to flag stand has that green flag ready to fly here tonight. And just like that, you can see drivers making their way into the picture, into the Geico restart zone. We roll it away. We go green. Flag flies once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Back across the stripe, lap number 1 completed after we go back. Green flag racing. Jacob Drift with the lead for the moment, but surging forward once again on the inside lane to 37 of Mark Ackerman. We've seen him running inside of your top 6 before that caution flag. He's going to take a 2-tire fuel only stop, work his way to the front of the field, but here comes the high side. 3 wide once again. The 44 of Ray Lane took to the top lane, and he's set sail. And it doesn't appear to seem like these early cautions had. Whoa, and we got trouble at the front. Big trouble. Scott Wise up and around. Hard impact. Now for the 94, the 59 is going to be involved. We've got a big one early here tonight. William Britton, Dakota Bailey, Darren Mack. Just a list of drivers. Al Likens involved. Tate McDonald, Dusty White, Mark Ackerman, all caught up and involved in this latest one here. And just when we were mentioning, when we were kind of saying it looks like these drivers are comfortable mixing it up early, we've got big trouble at the front. Man, that's a big hit for Scott Wise. Let's take a look at this one more time. There you can see 31, big hit right there from behind. And another big hit right there. And that 24 of Dakota Bailey has just been a trouble magnet, really. 3 cautions. He has been caught up in all 3 cautions. As we take a look now with that CarQuest Auto Parts machine of Mark Ackerman. Well behind the field now, back outside of your top 20 from the front to the rear, just like that. And here comes Ray Lane. Started 6th on that restart. Picked up 5 positions. It is now your race leader back across the line. Pit road going to be a very busy place. So far, only your top 4 have stayed out on the track. Looks like everybody else going to be coming down pit road. It looks like a handful of drivers may be in damage control mode quite early here tonight. 3 quick cautions. Lap 24 underway. Still a long road ahead of these guys. So we'll see what this latest restart brings us. We'll see if we get a long green flag run. We'll see if we get those green flag pit stops at any point in time here tonight. We'll see which pit crew is ready to perform. We'll see which one of these drivers are going to be able to persevere. Likens involved in on pit road. Scott Wise involved in on pit road. Joe Wells, little bit of contact for that 3 machine. He's been to pit road. Dylan Picklesheimer, one of the few championship 4. And I call it the championship 4 because really just 4 drivers within mathematical possibilities of walking away here tonight from Talladega with that Gen 4 season championship. So we're gonna just stick to the moniker, right? We're gonna make it simple. We're gonna make it easy. But Picklesheimer, the only one out of the 4 to come out of that latest one unscathed and stay out on the track. He's going to restart back around that 4th position, or in the 4th position, I should say. Not about. He's going to be there. And that's going to vote well for him right now. Wells, his nearest championship competitor, excuse us, and he's going to head to pit road. He's going to head right back down pit lane. Al Likens sitting outside of the top 10. Looks to maybe pick up 1 or 2 positions here. Maybe get to the 12th spot for this restart. Scott Wise still on pit lane. Down 1 lap. Still on pit lane trying to fix that 31. And Scott Wise may have just seen his championship slip away. Still early. Still an opportunity to make these laps up. Got a long way to go here tonight. But you gotta be careful how much you give up. Because you're gonna have to drive defensively now, right? It's going to be a different approach for Wise and his crew. He's going to have to go after it, but he's going to have to keep it clean. From here on out, he's going to have to keep that machine clean. He's going to need some help from some other drivers having trouble. We'll see how it all shakes out. It's still over 110, what is it, 100 and... I promise we can count. We're struggling with numbers right now. About 160 laps, let's call it, remaining here tonight. So still a very long way to go. Nobody is completely out of the race here tonight. 23 drivers took to the starting grid. We have still got 23 drivers out on the track, but only 21 remain on the lead lap. You can see that 24 machine, 5th car inside lane. Keep an eye on Dakota Bailey. He's had to utilize that fast fix. So let's see how that's going to dictate the rest of his race. He's going to have to guard he's going to have to guard the car. Got to make it to the end from here. We'll see how he fares. Jason Branch making an appearance on the scene. 3rd car outside lane, restarting in the 6th position. Into the zone we roll on the gas, and green flag flies. Once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Sam Taylor to the high side with a push from Picklesheimer, looking to surge towards the front. Help arriving on the scene to both the inside lane as well as the outside lane. Andrew Moore going to pick up the tail end of your U.S. Veterans Pole Sinners a ride down there on the inside lane. Jason Branch working his way back to the end of Dylan Picklesheimer. A little bit of no man's land here for Tay McDonald, 73, running the middle lane. He's going to have to pick a lane. Looks like he's going to go to the top of the racetrack. Lap 27 going to go on the board. We'll drop that timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. Things stacking up just a little bit on the inside. They're going to sort it on out. Stay double file at the front of the field. Your top 10 positions now side by side. We're already seeing here Scott Wise at a huge disadvantage. Huge disadvantage right now. Wise sitting one lap down, but he's on the verge of going a second lap down early here after this latest restart. Well down on the power. Over a 30-mile-an-hour difference right now from these drivers in this lead pack to the speeds of Wise. So they're going to catch up to that 31 quickly in contact through the corner. That's going to put the Aflac number, I believe that's the 48. Aflac machine into the outside wall. Brandon Browning ditching those familiar Cobalt tools in Lowe's paint schemes that we've been so accustomed to seeing that iconic 48 in throughout the course of this entire 20-week season. All culminating, all coming to an end right here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the final 500. Things slowly seem like they may be calming down just a little bit here at the front of the field. Just as we say that, though, Travis Gilbert going to say not so quick, Dave. We're going to go 3 wide front of the field. Gilbert going to try to get there on his own to no avail for the moment. But here comes help behind a Brandon Browning looking to bring that 48 near the front. Gilbert quickly sees the opportunity to gain a little bit of draft help. He's going to duck to the inside lane for a moment, pick up a little bit of a tow, head back to the high side once again with Browning right behind. The run on the high side is going to come to an end after Browning up the racetrack. A little bit of scrape of the outside wall. He's going to corral the machine, get it back underneath them, and now a big move front of the field. Big move on the high side. Ray Lane going to jump in front of Travis Gilbert. They're going to head to the front of the field. Ray Lane going to take control on the inside. Sam Taylor right there behind the wheel of that number 33 Bass Pro Shop Chevy Lumina, lurking in the middle of the pack, looking to lead a lap early here tonight. Lap number 31 on the board. We'll get 32 this time by. So you know what? We're going to do things a little different tonight, okay? We've got ourselves a long night. We got a lot of great racing action in front of us. We've already had some great racing action behind us. But coming into tonight's race, Joe Wells already with a season championship, right? 5 4-week mini-season championships to determine who really is the king of the air, the master of the draft. And Joe Wells capturing the season championship last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, finishing the season coming into tonight's race over 100 points ahead of his competition in the overall championship. So the season crown will belong to the man behind the wheel of that number 3 machine. Joe Wells will put a second trophy in the case this season. Can he get the job done tonight and make it 3 championship trophies on the season and really be able to look back at this season and to be able to look back at his fellow competitors and say, I am the standard? Does it give him any more bragging rights, knowing you walked away with not just the overall season championship, but you walked away with two, not just one, 2 mini season championships. Wells 2 race wins on the season. So a lot of accolades, a lot of upside to the season for Wells. Will he finish it off here tonight with a feather in the cap? We'll see how he maintains the rest of the 150 plus laps as we cross the line once again. McDonald taking a look at the top of the racetrack, trying to take the race lead away from that Goodrich, number 44 of Ray Lane, down on the inside lane. As pole sitter right behind him, Sam Taylor looking for the race lead, still maintaining control of that inside lane. The number 2 of Dylan Picklesheimer, still right behind him, bailing from the top of the racetrack, though, is Brandon Browning. He's going to bring Al Likens along with him. We do have a second pack out there on the track, over 10.5 seconds back. We're going to take just a brief moment to check in with these 4 drivers. It's not always about who's running at the front. It's about who's still running on the track. At the end of the day, who is still out there running right now? James Hudson leading this second pack. Joe Wells just maintaining of the tail end. Jacob Drift right here in the line, as well as Dakota Bailey. So a lot of big names, a lot of good drivers here in this 4-5 car pack. Over 11 seconds back. They're gonna have to manage this this gap rather well. They're gonna have to stay on top of it here. When you start to get around that 22 second mark, that's when you're really going to start worrying. You're really going to start questioning the crew chief strategy to really build that gap like that. But more importantly, or most importantly, really, when we're looking at this group of cars, a common theme here tonight, these drivers all involved in early big contact. So they're going to have to play it a little bit safer than some of these guys in the field. You can see the 93 heading to the top of the racetrack, needing to get some cool air. Darrell Johnson down 5 laps here, but trying to help these 4 drivers keep themselves on the lead lap. We'll see if they're going to be able to get it done while we head back to the front. Once again, still 3 wide for your top 6 positions. That outside lane going to lose a little ground through the early corner exit, but able to build that momentum down these long back stretch and the long front stretch here at Talladega Super Speedway. So the outside lane, you're pretty much wide open, right? Okay, you're pretty much wide open the entire time here at Talladega. You do have to lift. You do have to do what we call trail brake. That's when you're 2 foot driving. Whoa, my goodness. Jason, in trouble at the front. Trouble at the front, way up the racetrack. Oh my God. And he did not. We were about to say, how did Sam Taylor save it? And unfortunately, not going to be able to. He's going to pick up the Barbie Mobile in this one. We're going to have our 4th caution of the evening here. Al Lyken's going to be involved. Let's take a moment. Look back at what happened. There it is. Up the track goes the 33. Jason Branch involved. 23. 31 of Scott Wise. Once again involved in big impact late in that wreck for Sam Taylor. So yet another driver to fall from glory while being at the front of this field. There is no true safe spot when you come to Talladega Superspeedway. You can find trouble no matter where you may be. And we're going to take one more look. There you can see Scott Wise. Big damage on the front end of that 31. See a little bit of cosmetic damage as well on that 08 of Greg Thompson. A laundry list of drivers involved in caution number 4 here tonight in the final 500. Brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. And again, drivers, it's been problems that I don't want to call them out, right? We're not pointing fingers, but the troubles come at the front. So maybe that strategy that we checked in moments ago, just before the caution, those 4 drivers elected to have that 11-second gap. Well, looks like they may be the smart ones. Pit road going to open up this time by. Entire field should be making their way down pit lane. May have a driver to elect to stay out. We'll see what Daryl Johnson does. Bailey Ackerman, Hudson, Sam Taylor all entering pit lane at this moment. So as the entire field heads down pit road, we're going to use this opportunity in this moment to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
And welcome back, or if you're just joining us, welcome in here tonight to Talladega Super Speedway. You're watching the final 500 for the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing Masters of the Draft. It is the final 4-week mini-season, race number 20 of the year. And it all comes down to this. Who's going to walk away with the final race win? Who's going to walk away with the final championship trophy? That is still up for grabs. Fourth caution about to come to a close. We're going to set these drivers off once again. Back behind the pace car, you can see to the left-hand side, timing and scoring. Find your favorite driver in the field here tonight. If you're just joining us, trouble at the front of the field. We'll see if that remains to be a theme, or if things get a little bit sorted out. We'll see how it all goes throughout the course of these next 140 laps. As we enter the restart zone on the loud pedal, and away we go. Green flag flies once again. Inside lane, very covered up. Long line of drivers that went down pit road. Going to start all in line on that inside lane. We'll see who jumps to the top. And about half of the field goes right to the top in turn one. Look for that outside lane to make some momentum, build some energy here on these first 2 to 3 laps. For the moment, Tate McDonald looking good out front, but he's going to have some company by the time he gets to turn number 3 and 34. Bounty looking to take back that race lead. And Dylan Picklesheimer says he wants a lap lead. He's looking for some points. 25 points out of the overall Gen 4 championship coming into tonight's race. Picklesheimer needs a lap lead. He needs the win to race tonight. Look for that 12 to remain aggressive, to try to keep himself at the front of the field. Brandon Browning in that Aflac number 48. We've seen early trouble here tonight for Browning. He's going to turn his night around very, very early here tonight. Now sitting inside lane, second car in line. What a good shot to potentially take over that race lead. Greg Thompson back in the fold and in the mix. Third car inside lane, back behind the familiar number 77 Golf machine of Andrew Moore. And Moore kind of came up missing, right? Moore came up missing for a couple of weeks. Just not really running up there near the front. Would kind of always surge late in the race. So interesting to see that 77 so close to the front so early here tonight. Not that he doesn't have the speed or the talent, just a little bit of an opposite strategy, we guess, here tonight. Maybe looking to get some extra sponsorship dollars at a Weiss Supermarkets right there on the quarter panels of that Petty Blue in orange number 77 machine. Looking good and quick out there tonight. 2-3 wide once again, 4-5 rows deep through this field. And again, these drivers, they're not pulling any strings. I don't think they care if they just bring back the steering wheel. I mean, it's early here tonight, and they got no problem mixing it up. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, okay, all right? These guys, they have quick fixes. They've got fast repairs to keep them in the game, so to speak, right? Here in the virtual world on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. So they have a bit of a retry button, a reset. The big boys that play on Sunday, they don't quite have that reset button. But the fear factor is still there. If you haven't been behind the wheel of one of these machines in the middle of a pack like this on iRacing, you really truly don't know how intense it is. You may be looking at this as, oh, it's just good fun, but I'm telling you, it's intense. Heart rate will be through the roof. You're a little bit more comfortable than the drivers because you're in the comfort of your own home. You're as cool or as hot as you want to be instead of just being hot up inside of a big race car. So you got an advantage there, but these guys here with the Masters of the Draft, we've seen it all season long. They're not scared to go 3 wide. And I was under the impression, I was under the assumption, this race about 100 laps longer than any race we've had this season. Maybe these guys are going to come out. Maybe they're going to keep it calm and cordial for a while. Right? Not to make it sound bad, but a little bit of a follow the leader for a while and just click off the laps, get things going. But these guys aren't about just getting through the laps. They're about racing every lap. And we've seen that here tonight. Early. As we cross the line, lap number 49 going to go on the board. Dylan Picklesheimer picking up a handful of points for leading laps now here at Talladega. So he's doing his championship hopes and dreams a service at the front of the field now. But he's going to be about our 8th different race leader already. 8 different. I'm not talking about lead changes. I'm talking about different race leaders. So drivers, not shy about taking those chances, about taking those opportunities, and getting themselves in a position to reel in that wealth, to reel in that champagne shower at the end of tonight's race. We got a long way to go for that, so the champagne is already on ice, getting ready for your race winner. We're going to have tons of celebrations here tonight. Joe Wells will be crowned the overall season champion, and we got trouble in the back. Trouble in the back of the pack. Let's take a look. Looks like Ray Lane in the 44 down on that inside concrete barrier. He's going to come to a stop and get his machine fired back up and heading around the track on the bottom of the apron. Let's take a look here. What happened here with that? Oh, and he's going to get into the outside wall just a touch. Who was that made the contact? Do we got a better look at that, guys? Can we see a different angle? There you go. It's going to be the 37. A little bit of contact from the 37 and the big contact. Getting upended. Getting upended. We're going to leave it at that. At the end of that, so taking quite a bit of damage was Mark Ackerman. We'll see if he's going to be able to recover from that as we go back live with your race leader back at the front of the field behind the pace car. Majority of the drivers to pit road only about 10 laps ago. But here at Talladega Superspeedway, your fuel mileage, you're only going to get about, I would say about 25 to 30 laps of fuel. So what's the strategy play here? We're going to find out what the front of the field wants to do. And it looks like a lot of them are going to head to pit road. We've got one okey doke out there. Richard Smith going to say, He's going to stay out on the racetrack, become our latest race leader here tonight behind the wheel of that DraftKings machine. So gambling by staying out. You like what I did there? You like it? The DraftKings machine gambling? Yeah? No? No? Just stop? Okay, my bad. See, this is also the trouble you. This is also the trouble you get. With a long race with me, I'm gonna have multiple moments here tonight where I just get. I'll kind of get sidetracked and go on a rant about this driver or that driver or this thing or that thing. It's just the nature. If you've been around the network for a while, you know how it is. You know how it goes with me. The way my mind works a bit, I guess you would say. So yeah, we'll just keep seeing. There it goes again. Just a bit of a blank squirrel moment for us, but you know it. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, I'm sorry. Now you're here. Now you're gonna find out. Now you're gonna be one of us. You know what I mean? We find ourselves under caution for the 5th time here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, lap number 53. Gonna go on the board this time around. Smith elects to stay out. Interesting here, Smith really is going to stay out. Last time to pit road back on lap number 40. So at a good disadvantage when it comes to the fuel mileage. Looks like him and his crew chief's betting on there being another caution before he has to head to pit road for a green flag pit stop, because chances are, if he's got to come to pit road that much earlier, I don't know that he's going to have a lot of help. I don't know that he's going to have a lot of drivers interested on getting off of the fuel cycle as well. You typically here at Talladega, Daytona, you want to be within about 1 to 3 laps of your competition. Unless you're just completely playing it backwards like a fuel mileage race, you really want to be within that 1 to 3 laps. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how he gets the job done here tonight. Richard Smith, for the first time tonight, going to lead the field to the green flag. A little busy here in Talladega at the final 500 for our good buddy behind the wheel of that iRacing pace car, Joshua Norwood, going to bring the pace car back to pit road this time around. And the boss man in the flag stand going to kick things off for us once again here from Talladega Superspeedway. You're watching the Masters of the Draft. And here we go. Norwood going to bring the pace car to pit lane. We're going to get ready to fire this thing off once again. The side-by-side restarts getting thinner and thinner at the front of the field. Quickly back onto the gas. And green flag flies once again here at Talladega Superspeedway. Lap number 54 on the board. Smith with the race lead, but only for the moment. High side hustling is Tay McDonald with Picklesheimer behind him. I wouldn't look for that outside lane to give up anytime soon. We're going to cross the line this time by, excuse us, cross the line this time by once again. Drop that timing scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field here tonight for all 188 laps. Over 500 miles of racing action here tonight. In the season finale, we're going to cap it off with the longest race of the season. And we're going to have probably one of the most action... Oh my God, that's close. Whew. Talk about trusting a side draft. Good Lord. And quickly, we're going to go from 2 wide to 3 wide. Travis Gilbert going to go to the top of the racetrack. He's going to try his hand at the Harry Gant line. High side hustling, looking like Larson out there at the top of the track. And seeing the run coming, Tay McDonald going to jump to that high side, take control of that outside lane. Picklesheimer now going to have the middle with Smith still controlling that inside lane. At the bottom of the racetrack, and we got trouble behind. Back in the field, we've got another caution here tonight. Looks like the 27 machine of Dusty White going to be our latest victim to go around here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway. That's going to quickly put us back under caution for the 6th time this evening. Doesn't look like a lot of damage. Doesn't look like a lot of contact. But we're still going to go back. Let's go and see what went down. Let's check the replay. And there it is, just some contact. Trouble at the top of the racetrack and a little bit out of shape. The Walmart-sponsored Hot Topic MTV Throwback 27 machine. Man, what do you know about Hot Topic? What y'all got on that, huh? And you know what? I'm going to... See, this has got me on one of my moments right here. I guarantee you that everybody listening, watching, joining in here tonight, you've been in a Hot Topic where you know somebody that has. Don't act like you haven't. Doesn't matter how cool you thought you were. You weren't cool enough to stay out of that Hot Topic store, were you? It's okay. It's all right. We won't judge. We probably hung out with you at it. I'm just saying. Now, anyways, back live with your race leader, Dylan Picklesheimer, going to okey-doke or try to okey-doke some of the drivers at the front of the field. Nobody playing them games. They're going to stay out on the racetrack with them. Scott Wise looking for a lucky dog here. And I believe he's going to get one. That's going to go... That's going to help him tremendously. You can see he's still very wounded out there tonight. Scott Wise keeping his quick fix in his back pocket. Just going to try to push through and persevere in the damage control mode for as long as you can. Right, but Wise 3 laps down, now only 2 laps down. Very doable. Right, 130 laps. 130 laps still remaining. There's going to still be cautions. Why is it a good opportunity to bring himself back into the fold? But again, he's got to keep the machine clean. You're already out there with trouble. Right, I don't want to say with a car that's not good. Because as long as you're in the draft, we've seen it. You can have a good car as long as you're in the draft. Really, the draft is the great equalizer. That's why these restrictor plate races are so... number one, they mean more than what you may think to drivers. Because it's not like going to a short track where, you know, you've got the best engine and mechanical grip out there over all the other teams. You're going to walk away with it. Here, literally, the playing field is leveled. There's no slight advantage here, slight advantage there. The draft takes care of it all. You could be missing a hood. You could be missing a fender. And if you keep yourself in the right position in the draft, you're going to be able to maintain speed with those clean race cars. And that's what makes these races that much tougher. Because everybody does have that chance. Everybody does have that opportunity. Speaking of chances and opportunities to win races, if you're looking for a setup that's going to get you to victory lane, look no further than Premier Racing Setups, the longest running setup shop on iRacing.com, created with the intention of teaching you how to be more successful behind the wheel of the car and have an advantage over your competition. If you're looking for some more speed, you're looking for some coaching, head on over to the Premier Racing Setup and check them out. You can find a link in the upcoming descriptions. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody over there at the Premier Racing Setups coming on board, sponsoring some things this season. Huge shout out as well to Buster's Corners, Butt Kicker, as well as Little Rescue Towing, saving lap cars one caution at a time. And just a ton of other great sponsors and affiliates here with the Turn 3 Racing Network, as well as the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing's Masters of the Draft. Season number 1. And we've had it all, right? Here this season. We've went across the pond to my favorite place on earth, Monza. We got to race in Monza, Italy, behind the wheel of these Gen 4 machines, and I couldn't have been a happier broadcaster than I was just, what was it, 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks, yeah? Okay. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Getting a thumbs up from some of the stats people here beside us in the booth. And just like this, we're going to go back. Green flag racing once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Dylan Picklesheimer. A little bit of an unorthodox restart here. Looked like he was going to go to the high side and then weaved his way back down to the bottom. Kind of keeping that outside lane in tow here on the restart, not really allowing him to get as big of a run generated early here. But even doing so, that's not going to keep the guys from behind attempting to make that run. Sam Taylor going to take the Bass Pro Shop Tracker Chevy to the top of the racetrack. He's got a familiar man to the front of the field here tonight behind him. Ray Lane back in the mix once again. Third car outside lane, jockeying for position. And man, I'm telling you, these guys, I don't want to say they don't care. They don't care. They're going to race this thing out just like this, lap after lap. Well, it's given us some great racing action to talk about here. We're going to stay 3 wide, front of the field. Handful of drivers on that inside lane, looking to just kind of back things up a little bit. Looks like right around, I believe that's going to be Greg Thompson, 13th positioned. The 08 Budweiser machine right there. There you can see he's not really trying to close that gap. Ooh, big moment at the top. And we've got trouble again. Trouble coming off of 4. Big trouble now. And a big hit. Jacob drifting. We got somebody. Tony Hawk and kick flipping. Oh my. Travis Gilbert going to come to rest on the hood. It is never good when you're looking at the ground upside down. Big trouble here. Guys, that's the last one. Let's get that fast forwarded where we need it. And we're going to go on board. Travis Gilbert carrying one of our onboard cameras here tonight. Let's take a ride. Up and over and over and and oh man, back in the background, did you see who else was involved? Tough break here tonight. There you can see Dakota Bailey trying to stay to the high side. He's looking to avoid everything and just know where to go. Gilbert starts to move down the racetrack right when Bailey was looking to get down to the bottom as well. Contact, and over he goes. So another big one here at Talladega. This is going to be our 7th caution of the evening. We've got drivers Tony Hawk kick flipping out there tonight. Whew. And this is going to go to help Scott Wise. Wise is going to get another lucky dog here. He's going to be just 1 lap down now. So Wise, right there. Not quite at that halfway point either. We're not quite there. Right? We're still about 30 laps or so away from that halfway point. And he's within 1 lap of getting himself back into contention. So what's going the right way for Wise is not going well for others. Travis Gilbert going to be on pit road, I would assume for a little bit of time here. After that contact and flipping the way he did, coming to a rest on the hood, having to get the little rescue towing service out there to get him back to pit lane. Looking back through the field, Dakota Bailey also involved again. And when I say again, if you're out there, if you're one of the Bailey fans or friends, we're not pointing fingers at him. We're not saying anything bad. It's just been the trouble has found him. I mean, we watched on that replay right there. I mean, Bailey trying to get out of the way, trying to come to a stop, trying to let the car go to the inside. It just, the time wasn't there. It wasn't enough. And he's going to collect some more damage. It's just been a theme tonight for Dakota behind the wheel of that Superman machine. Maybe the kryptonite is Talladega after all. But Bailey, man, I'm just a tough run. And a tough way to end the season, right? You know, everybody, no matter the season you've been having, you want to end things kind of on a high note. Give you something to hang your hat on. Heading into the off season, and just tonight has not been the night for that 24 crew. It's just been just trouble after trouble, involved in 4 out of the 7 cautions. Just again, just a trouble magnet somewhere inside that car. Tough break. Field going to receive the 1 to go. We'll go back green flag racing this time around, lap number 65. We'll go up on the board. 123 laps remaining here tonight. Field came into tonight's race knowing, willing, ready to tackle the longest race of the season, a full 500-mile race. And not just a race, a restrictor blade race. Everybody likes to think you just jump in the car, you mat the gas, and you turn left. There's a lot going on behind the wheel of these machines. As we've already alluded to earlier here tonight about trail braking, about lifting just a little bit, about manipulating those runs with the side draft. How much work is really going on inside the cars is truly, truly amazing. There is a lot going on at all times, especially, man, we can't voice this enough. These Gen 4 cars, they are an absolute handful. Period. Take them to any track, and they are tough to tame. They are tough to drive. Tough to keep in the draft with those unaligned bumpers. We'll see who's going to do some bump drafting here tonight. Haven't quite seen the bump draft come into play. We have seen a lot of runs. No bump drafting. Back on the loud pedal. Back under action. We're back into turn one once again. And we got a new race leader at the front. Or a new challenger, we should say. All right, William Britton. Where'd he come from? Up 16 positions from where he qualified. Britton gonna take the outright race lead from that outside lane. 94 of Al Lycan says, I appreciate the toe. He's gonna duck to the inside and look for the race lead. But again, Britton. And what? 20 laps ago, we weren't talking about that 64. And that's not a shot at William. But 20 laps ago, he was mid, just kind of hanging out, riding, if you will. And here he is, 20 laps later, fighting for the race lead. 10 different race leaders here tonight as we edge closer and closer to the halfway point in tonight's final 500. Here with the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. You can find them on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. Tracks cars scanned with millimeter laser precision to bring you the most accurate look and feel behind the wheel. If you want to race like the big boys, you want to jump behind the wheel of one of the machines and see what it is like. iRacing utilized across many of the top tier levels of motorsports, whether it's IMSA, Formula One, IndyCar drivers are on the service. There are dirt track racing guys out here turning laps. Rico Abreu, a familiar face here on iRacing.com. Dale Jr., you can catch Dale Jr. on here from time to time. That should tell you enough right there. Kyle Larson, William Byron, one of the big names to come from iRacing. How about Ty Majeski? If you're into the NASCAR world, you heard that name quite a bit this year in that Craftsman Truck Series. Ty Majeski, what they consider an alien here on iRacing. One of the absolute highest I ratings you can get on iRacing, and that's for both of his accounts. So there is a very high caliber, a very high level of racing here on iRacing.com, and there's a reason for it. There's the reason why they are the #1 racing simulator in the world. So if you're looking to turn some laps behind the wheel of your dream race car, join your fellow millions of sim drivers right here on iRacing.com. You can link up with a handful of leagues, find yourself out on the track and being watched. So as lap number 69 going to come to a close this time by, we're going to go ahead and drop that timing and scoring back to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find and follow your favorite driver in the field here tonight. And again, we're seeing three wide racing in the back of this lead pack. Handful of guys look like they're trying to play it safe and go single file here, but guys in front of them not wanting to play nice. Things are going to settle down just a little bit at the front of this field. Less than 25 laps away from the halfway point here tonight, and it looks like we're going to settle things down to side-by-side racing action as we cross the line. Lap number 71 going to go on the board. No real clear advantage for either lane at the moment. And how about the 37? How about Mark Ackerman? Second car, middle lane here. As I believe the 27 going to go to the top of the racetrack. He's going to try it solo on the high side. And, well, he's got a little bit of help. But as drivers bail from that middle lane, that's going to slow the roll of that middle lane. And the run at the top of the racetrack going to come to an end. Brandon Browning going to dunk that Aflac number 48 machine to the high side to look to pick up that middle lane now. Not quite going to get there. Not quite going to do it. And just like that, we talked about William Britton, right? We talked about him just kind of coming from nowhere. And just like that, blink of an eye, from leading the race, now outside of your top 15. William Britton going to fall from grace in the middle portion of this run. All the way back. Now it looks to be 14th position. Yeah, just... excuse us, there's still... there's still a ton of racing remaining. We're going to go side by side, front of the field for the race lead. Once again, Al Likens top of the racetrack. Looking for the overall race lead. Likens looking to secure a season championship as well. Likens came into tonight's race sitting just 1 point out of that Gen 4 championship points lead. Out front showing the way with the trophy in his back pocket. Fellow championship contender tucked in line right behind him though. Dylan Picklesheimer right there to pounce. If there's trouble, if there's problems, Picklesheimer may be able to parlay his way into a season crown. Woo, close move from Browning. Talk about hitting the elevator button and dropping right down to the bottom. I hope he's got some insurance because that was Whew. That was a close move. Like, not even gonna attempt to sugarcoat that one, man. I don't even know. Honestly, I really don't know how we fit the car in there. Kudos, bro. Brave move. Brave move. So here we are, lingering around the midway point. We haven't seen any engine troubles. We've been keeping our eye out there, seeing if anybody's had to really jump out of line abruptly. Maybe that the temperature getting too hot too quick. And there's our first big push down the backstretch that we were able to really take a look at with Pickle Summer on the back of your race leader's rear deck lid. How long can you do it? How long can you keep that machine tucked in, not getting any clean air to cool off the engine? We haven't seen any durability issues, or reliability issues, I should say. I can't even say it again for the second time. No reliability issues. But how much are these drivers maintaining right now, right? How much are they holding back? How conscious and aware are they being about the temperatures of the cars? A lot of unknowns. As we watch some great racing action here from Talladega Superspeedway, 2-3 wide, once again with Travis Gilbert to the top of the speedway. Who would have thought, right? Gilbert go to the top? Nah, that won't happen. Let's go check in with your overall season champion. He secured that overall championship last week after a solid performance from Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's out there dripped out in gold tonight. Look at that thing shine under this Alabama sun. They're doing it for Dale once again. Joe Wells, 16th here tonight, and Wells may be just hanging out. We've seen this with Wells through this Gen 4 season. We'll call it William Britton syndrome from earlier. Right? We're not going to, besides him being the overall season champion, there hasn't really been a lot to talk about Wells tonight. He's been a non-factor. And see, that just lets you know how brutally honest we are here. Or at least how honest I am here. You know, he hasn't been involved in any big moves. He's had a little bit of contact under one of our cautions. Minor damage. But hasn't really made any big moves. Hasn't made a lot of passes. Hasn't gained a ton of ground, just as comfortable with chilling in the back of the field. But that's what makes him so dangerous. He'll hang out for 85% of the race here tonight. Mark my word, race fans, if you're out there in TV land watching, look at the timestamp, if you will, when I say this. That 3 will be inside of your top 5 with less than 20 to go. And that is what has made him so dangerous throughout this Gen 4 block. He's been able to work his way to the front when he needed to after playing it safe for the majority of the race We'll watch the run happen when it does. For the time being, Joe Wells remains in the 16th position, tucked in line behind Darren Mack in the NASCAR number 59 machine. Front of the field starting to sort itself out just a little bit. We're going to go 3 wide, 3 rows deep for a moment. Middle lane being led by the 97 machine, the brute number 97 of James Hudson, one of our newer drivers in the field with less than 5 races under his belt. Hudson doing what many drivers have done this season. That's going out there and showing these guys that you can handle the situation. That you can run up here 2-3 wide and you can be trusted. That's a key, right? You can be a great pusher. You can be a great leader. But if you're not stable enough, you will not be trusted enough. So showing these drivers, these veteran drivers, that you can be trusted is what's going to go a long way at the end of these things. A lot of people willing to work with each other through the first 3 quarters of these restrictor plate races, but it boils down to that last 25% of the night. Woo! Off the front end of Britton Gilbert, super loose, catches it before he flew off of the track and on the apron. He's going to take control of that inside lane now. And now we're seeing a second pack. We're starting to see it right back. I believe that's going to be Sam Taylor, Dakota Bailey, Jason Branch. Right around that area right there. And just as I say it, they're going to close the distance, so never mind. Second pack, not quite developing just yet. .86 laps into tonight's 188 lap official race distance. Drivers ready to cross and crack into or under that 100 lap remaining mark. Close to the halfway point here. Less than 10 laps away from the halfway point. Almost 250 miles of racing action now behind us. Here from Talladega Superspeedway, Al Likens out front, James Hudson leading that outside lane. Picklesheimer and Boundy, Browning, Smith, Ackerman, Moore, Taylor, White. Round out your top 10. Scott Wise still battling. Still trying to find a way to get himself back onto the lead lap. Listed as the first and only driver 1 lap down. We're going to scratch that off the list because, did you see Brandon Browning? Now that had potential to be problematic right there. Wise and Gilbert, now the only 2 drivers listed 1 lap down. 93 of Daryl Johnson still listed multiple laps down. Showed 4 laps down at the time being. 1 retirement here tonight out of the 23 car field after leading a handful of laps at the front of the field. The 44 of Ray Lane will push the car behind pit wall and head to the hauler early here tonight in the final race of season number 1 for the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by Under Pressure Pressure Washing, Premier Racing Setups, as well as Beef Jerky Unlimited.com, Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, Butt Kicker, and a slew of other sponsors and associates. We do appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, let's show these drivers the last love for the season. Let's give them that thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't already, join us in that push to 4,000 subscribers. Drop these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're sliding in to say hey, or you are one of the dedicated fans, friends, family, or one of our many beloved sponsors across our many different talented, great leagues. We appreciate each and every one of you. Without you, there would be no us, and we're going to cut the promo short because we've got caution number 8 on the track, caution on the speedway. Trying to look through, and we're not seeing really any damage reports out there through the radio channels. Trying to pick up some chatter right now from race officials to see if this was a possible debris caution. Because we're looking through, we're looking around, and we are not seeing any cars off pace. We're not seeing any telltale signs, so it looks like debris caution here on lap number 91, just around the corner of the halfway point here tonight. So it's a downhill battle from here, but an uphill climb to stand at the top of the mountain at the end of tonight's 500-mile feature event. What a night. What a race so far. James Hudson out front after early trouble. The Brute Rubbermaid Sharpie, sponsored number 97, will bring the field more than likely down pit road. So with that being said, we're going to take this opportunity to pay some more of those sponsor bills. We're going to step away from the track for just a brief commercial break. You won't miss any of the green flag action right here, live from Talladega Super Speedway. And backtrack side, as promised, not missing any of the action here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. We're double file back down the backstretch, getting ready to go back green flag racing. Pace car in, field through the tri-oval, back to the restart zone on the gas, and green flag flies once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Dylan Picklesheimer out front with Sam Taylor leading the outside lane. Al Likens right there as well. Sean Bundy still up here near the front. He's going to be second car outside lane. Your U.S. Veterans Pole Award winner here tonight behind that iconic DuPont Pepsi machine. Made pretty famous through those late 90s, mid 2000 runs. Made famous by the one and only Jeff Gordon. We'll see if he can't bring some claim to fame for himself here tonight behind the wheel of that 34 machine. Has led a handful of laps, now running in the 4th position. Second car outside lane with guess who's back? Back again. Wells is back. At the front. One more time, Joe Wells. We told you. We said he'd be there with less than 20 laps to go inside the top 5. Well, he's done it with, well, about 90 laps to go. 93 to be exact. So Wells positioning himself a little early here tonight. Maybe he wants to go to the front for the second half of tonight's race after kind of laying low the majority of tonight's race. The Aflac 48 machine tucked in line right behind him. We got a third lane beginning to develop. That's going to be Andrew Moore up on the high side with Greg Thompson. And Jason Branchen quickly, that run at the high side is going to dissolve, dissipate, and disappear. And we got another caution on the speedway. Tay McDonald gonna have a huge problem now. Let's go back. Let's check this latest replay. McDonald just slowed through the corner all of a sudden right in front of Scott Wise, and that's gonna stack up a handful of guys. It looks like Wise wounded warrior now for sure. And McDonald gonna go directly to pit lane. So we'll rejoin the field at the front. Race leader behind the wheel of the, well, he's listed as the 88 in our timing and scoring, but the 33. Bass Pro Shops, Tracker Chevy Monte Carlo. At the front of the field, showing the way right as we get to that 100 lap threshold. We'll see if he can't keep it there at the front. That's why the majority of the field does come to pit road. We've got a handful of drivers gambling here in the season finale. Handful of guys gonna stay out. Looks like 3 drivers gonna stay out here at the front of this field. Ninth caution of the night gonna fly on lap number 96 here tonight. Tate McDonald gonna have some problems through the center of 3 and 4. That's gonna collect Scott Wise, and Wise gonna pick up a bit of damage and be on pit road. And the recovery, the charge to the front that Wise was undergoing is now going to take a big hit. So Picklesheimer back to the front once again. This is going to be about the 3rd time that he's been at the front of the field as your race leader. Dusty White, we haven't really seen that hot topic number 27 at the front of the field since contact with the outside wall around lap number 30. Remember, he was up running near the front, had some contact with the outside wall, fell deep through the field, and he became a non-issue for about the past 60 laps or so. But again, just another example, right? Another example of drivers being able to run at the front, have a problem, head to the rear, and then make their way back to the front. If this was a normal night of racing, we would have been done 10 laps ago. So these drivers are now embarking on territory that we haven't seen. We haven't seen them have to maintain the focus this long in a night. We haven't seen them have to persevere through, well, tiredness. Although a handful of the drivers in the field did participate last weekend in the Daytona 24, iRacing's roar before the 24 hours at Daytona. So a handful may be accustomed to long times behind the wheels, but it's one thing road racing, it's another when you're doing 200 miles an hour, inches away from the cars around you. Quickly back on the gas into the restart zone. Bossman to the flag stand, gonna wave the green flag. Picklesheimer gonna set sail. 3 drivers on the bottom of the racetrack gonna get lined up outside lane. Gonna lose a handful of guys here by the time they enter turn 1. And now with 88 laps remaining this time around, is this the moment where we see a little lull in the action. And right when I start questioning it, because there's only a handful of guys not on that inside lane, they're going to force 2-3 wide again. And laps past the halfway point, we'll go ahead and drop the timing and scoring back over there to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver in the field. Is he still in contention? Is he still in the hunt for a checkered flag here tonight? Is he still going after that Gen 4 mini-season championship? Dylan Picklesheimer outlikens both drivers 1-2 on the racetrack, both inside of that championship 4 with that mathematical opportunity of walking away with the championship. Picklesheimer needs to win the race. That 12 has got to stay at the front of the field. He doesn't have to lead every lap from here, but he does have to lead that final one. Some fast company with him. Al Likens, he's been at the front all night long. And you've got Sean Bundy in that 34, just a handful of cars back. You see Sam Taylor, third car in line. Taylor, one of the quick drivers, quick cars here tonight. DraftKings number 23, Machine of Richard Smith, going to jump off of the racetrack down onto the apron, give these lead lap cars the racing line without being in the way. So a little bit of a gentleman move there. Somehow, some way, man, we got to go to this guy right here, man. I'm telling you, this guy right here. If you want to talk about the Iron Man Award, and how funny that we would call it the Iron Man Award. Can we redo it? Can we call it the Superman swing or something? I don't. Guys, help me out here. Nothing. I don't get no. Like you're not. No. I appreciate it. Thanks. No. I'm good. Never mind. Sorry. Man, we've had 9 cautions on the night. Bailey's been involved in 5 of them now. Somehow, some way, his crew's got him fixed up, looking good, got the fenders beat back in place, and here he is, inside of the top 10. Man, what a night of ups and downs for this 24 machine of Dakota Bailey. Three wide again with guess who at the top of the racetrack? Travis Gilbert gonna go straight to the top of the racetrack, pick up the Aflac number 48 machine of Brandon Browning, who's gonna look to head to the front of the field. 24 of Bailey sees what's going on behind him, look to the top of the racetrack to pick him up, but the run on the high side kind of went away. We'll see if Bailey jumps back out there here in just a moment. 5th car in line has a gap, gets a run. Looks to the high side of Joe Wells now. Wells a little bit out of shape. Travis Gilbert, unsatisfied with running third. Outside lane, look to the high side for brief seconds. He's going to duck back out there once again. William Britton looking to go with him. Dakota Bailey, man. Here he is going for the race lead after all sorts of trouble here tonight. One of your winningest drivers, and he's showing why. Not afraid to head to the front. Dakota Bailey going to look for his 4th win of the season. Only the man's 2nd car in that 3rd lane with 3 race wins as well. So we almost have a race for the checkered flag, a race for the Gen 4 championship block, and a race for the most wins. All in one race here. A lot of stuff going on. As if Talladega couldn't get any more controversial, or what's the word I'm looking for? Any more unpredictable. There's a ton of racing remaining, still well over 150 miles of racing action remaining out of the 500 in tonight's official race distance. We are seeing a little bit calmer racing here now, just over that 100 lap mark. We are seeing things settle down just a little bit. A lot of guys running that inside lane. And caution going to fly once again. Caution on the racetrack. Big trouble back here. Andrew Moore going to be involved. Trying to look through the smoke in the fog, and it looks like Travis Gilbert. Joe Wells involved as well. You can see a lot of damage on the rear of that number 3 machine. Andrew Moore, Zach Halanen going to be caught up and involved in this one as well. Let's go check the little rescue replay. There you can see Halanen in that chrome number 74, and the trouble happened in front. The trouble happened with the 2 and the 3, and I believe they were stacked up. Who were they stacked up behind? Oh, there it is. Trouble on the high side. Britton with a bump to the 2, and that sent him to the bottom. There's the trouble. There's the problem. There's the issue. Guys, do we got the drone on it? We do. Let's go to the drone cam for the replay. There you can see that bump. A little bit of a bump from the 2 to the 48. Accordion effect. That's all she wrote. Caution will fly. Once again here at Talladega Super Speedway. 10th caution of the night. Lap 110 goes on the board. Dylan Picklesheimer looks to more than likely bring these drivers back down pit road. 20 laps in to this green flag run. So we're going to take an opportunity once again to step away for yet another commercial break. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And we're going to keep our promise. You're not going to miss any of the green flag action as we bring you back as the flag falls. Green flag back in the air here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway. And I want to give a shout out to Brady out there in the chat, chiming in, talking about his good buddy Joe Wells. And yet tonight, really, I mean, overall, right, in the grand scheme of things, tonight really doesn't matter. Wells has already secured the bragging rights of the overall season champion. Right? He could have started in part. Oh, big trouble. Look at the front, and we've got big issues. Picklesheimer gonna get turned as well. Dakota Bailey hard impacted to the outside wall. Man, trouble here. Lap number 1 after the restart. 2 cars turned into that outside wall. Big trouble here. Lap 114. Checking the replay, and we're going to see that one a little bit late. Let's see if we can't see what happened here. Yeah, and it looks like we're getting some shaking heads over there. Excuse us, over there on the replay department. So not quite so sure what went on and what took place, but a big hook at the front of the field, and another one following it. 2-3 drivers up against that outside wall. Yeah, just trouble here, man. Trouble. And you know, we mentioned it, Brady. If you were watching earlier, we kind of alluded to that. I didn't know that was the reasoning behind it, but we said, you know, he was dripped out in that gold, celebrating the season championship, and well, I guess it pays to be lucky sometimes, or just have a great guess, right? I guess. I mean, I don't know. Lonely out on the track for the moment is Brandon Browning, one of the very few drivers to stay out here under our latest caution. It'll be Browning to pit road back on lap 109, so just 6 laps ago. Not going to have a big difference on the fuel and tires. The tires not really a big factor when it comes to restrictor plate racing. I mean, you can have 15 lap old tires and still have speed in the car. A tire fall off, not really. I don't want to say it's not a thing when you're restrictor plate racing, but it's not as detrimental as it is when you hit those miles and a half miles. Tire wear definitely going to be a factor at places like Martinsville, like Bristol, like the LA Coliseum coming up in 2 weeks. Mark it on your calendars if you haven't already. If you're a race fan, I don't know how it's not on your calendar. Right, we got some great racing action coming up. The Michelin Pilot Challenge going on down in Daytona. We've also got the Rolex 24-hour coming up as well. And then we've got the NASCAR Clash at the Coliseum to kick things off for the latest NASCAR season. So a lot of great racing right around the corner. It is racing season once again. And man, I know we just ended in what was it, November? Was it November And here it is. Here we are working our way into February, just a few short months without racing season being in in I don't want to say in season, but you get what I'm saying. And man, whew, it's been too long of a wait. At least for me. At least for me. Some great racing action to keep us occupied, right? Though just a handful of weeks ago, we had the Tulsa Shootout. A lot of young guys and some old guys picking up some golden drillers. A great Chili Bowl week. We seen Kyle Larson flipping behind the wheel of a midget. So, I mean, there was some good action in the Chili Bowl. So, kind of tying us over, if you will, until we get back on track. The Chili Bowl, dirt racing's mecca of an event, right? When it comes to asphalt racing, in the heavy tin tops here in NASCAR, you know, you look at special events, Daytona 500. You look at the Southern 500, the Coke 600, all very prestigious events. You get to etch your name in history when you walk away with a win from one of those three events. But the Chili Bowl, there's nothing that compares to it in dirt racing, besides maybe the Dream. My opinion, you don't have to like it. Just say it. Brady, screw the Clash. I hear you, but I tell you what, it's fun because it's an all-out war, right? When they go to Daytona, it's going to be for points. So you got to kind of approach that, we're going to call it with a little more professionalism, right? You can kind of go out there and let the elbows fly. Let the fenders flare. It's the Clash. There's no points. It's a quarter of a mile. Somebody's going home pissed. I don't know. Can we say that? Are we allowed to say it? All right, well, we're going to roll with it like we're allowed to say it. If we're not, we're going to find out about it here in a few short hours. But nonetheless, we're going to roll on with the broadcast here. Coming across the line this time around, lap 118 will go on the board. Slowly but surely, obviously, we're clicking off the laps, getting to those final 100 miles, right? Those final 50, 60 laps. If you thought the racing was intense at any point in time, whoa, big wiggle by Wells in the middle. If you thought the racing was intense at any point in time tonight, you ain't seen yet. And yeah, we used our own mute button because I know we're not allowed to say that on air, but you ain't seen yet. It's gonna go down. It's gonna happen. I promise you. We've had two big ones. Get ready for another. Three wide racing, front of the field, 4 rows deep as we head down the backstretch. Lap number 119 on the board. We'll have 120. This next time by, drivers going to funnel their way into 3 and 4. Here we go. Middle lane. Going to lose some numbers. But your pole sitter still holding strong, stringing along that 31 of Scott Wise. What a run for Wise. Recovering well here tonight. And again, back across the stripe we will head as the drivers put lap 120 on the board. Oh oh my, we've got controversy. We're going to drop the, hold on, before we get to that, we're going to drop the timing and scoring over here to the left-hand side of the screen. Let you find your favorite driver in the field. Brady, we know who you're looking for. You're looking for Wells, who's dropped down to that top 5. Wells has went back to the 15th position. There you can see him, what is that, 5th car outside lane. Now going to drop to that middle lane, so just looks like he's playing it safe here for a little bit longer. Picklesheimer back to the point on the high side, but we got green smoke. And he says he's going to catch some hate for this comment. And I don't think you're going to catch the hate, right? I really don't. Wanting to see the EV car and I hear your argument, right? But what's it gonna sound like? What's that experience gonna be like at the track with an electric race car? And don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to get into an argument with you. I'm not trying to discredit what you said, because what you said is exactly true. They're gonna gain horsepower with almost no change. So what's the holdup? What's the problem? And from my standpoint, one of my only issues with this is it's just not going to be the same. Right? You're not going to, you just can't have, unless you really do something in the exhausts of these machines, when you switch over to that electric style motor, you're just not going to have that race car sound. You know what I mean? That so many of us have been accustomed to, that so many of us love. Like every year, a lot of us at Turn 3 go to the headquarters of Turn 3, Pocono Raceway, for the entire race weekend. And I tell you what, there's nothing like waking up to the sound of race engines running in the background. There's nothing like having a little bit too much to eat, is what we'll say, in the middle of the day, taking a nap to the sound of race cars on the track and waking up to them. I got a feeling when they make that switch, when they make that swap, that sound, it just won't be the same. And the only thing I have for it, to kind of back up my argument, is look at Formula E. And yes, I watch Formula E. I watch all sorts of racing. Formula 1, IndyCar. I watch open wheel racing when I can catch it. I watch late model racing, dirt track racing, NASCAR. It doesn't matter. If it's got an engine and it goes, I watch it. I mean, I'm not into the dirt bikes anymore, so maybe I shouldn't say if it's got an engine and it goes, I'll watch it. But I do watch MotoGP, you know, your super bikes and things of that nature. So I am an avid race fan, right? I just... Okay, see, this is why I like when people come in and you speak freely. You're not going to be judged here, and see, you agree. You know, you will miss that smell, the sound. It's just gonna be different, right? And anytime you have something different in any aspect of life, you're gonna catch a little bit of at the beginning. Oh, trouble. Big trouble. Sam Taylor around, up and around, parts and pieces flying. We've got a caution. Caution on lap number 125. And oh, no brakes, and up and over. Rumble, young man, rumble. Picklesheimer slammed off of the inside wall. Looks like the 59 missing a few parts and pieces here. Wayne Britton, Sam Taylor, Dylan Picklesheimer all involved. Quickly to the replay. The trouble already happening in front. Pole center. Gonna have some issues as well, so all sorts of chaos breaking out. Let's see what happened with the 34. Sam Taylor with a little bit of an overzealous run, maybe. Let's take a look once again. There it is. Yeah, just some contact to the 34 into the 31. Taylor with a hard hit to the outside walls. Safer barrier. And, I mean, it's, again, everything just looked nice and calm. And whammo. Outside wall. There you go. Caution once again here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway. And see, look, see, this is why I try to engage when I can, and I try to get you guys out there talking, even if it's amongst each other. See, Brady, I had no idea that Road America added a Tesla to their driving course, their stunt driving course, and I get, I get it. We're gonna get to this in a moment. Pit road gonna open up. Looks like the entire field gonna come down pit road. So we're going to take a moment here and just watch these guys come down pit road. Why? Because I get to go on a rant now, right? We got some talking points to go over here, right? I mean, the world, regardless of what we cherish, love, and hold dear, the world evolves. At one point in time in my life, I worked for the largest heated greenhouse east of the Mississippi River. Supplied plants to more than half of the East Coast. And one of the sayings that I really picked up and I really held on to from the owners of that company. We're not going to get into that company and who it was and all this and that, because if you know, you know. If you don't, you can do your research and find that out on your own after listening to this. But something that was told was, without innovation, you have stagnation in the death of a product. Meaning, if you're not evolving with the times, with the changes in the world, you're going to be stuck in the same spot you were. And you're going to lose out on a ton of opportunity. So as the world shifts and heads into that electric phase, truly, with the way the car manufacturers are going and things of that nature, we all know electric is the future. Whether you like it or not, your opinion doesn't really matter anymore. It's happening. You're going to still have your gas cars out there here and there, but they're going to become the anomalies. It's not going to be like it was before when Prius first came on scene, or the first Teslas were introduced. You know, it's going to be different, where it's going to become almost odd to see a gasoline-powered car. And with the world going that way, why wouldn't our motorsports slowly transition into those things? I think it's going to happen. I'm not going to be happy with it at first. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's going to happen. And you're either going to embrace the change eventually, or you're going to stop watching. It's that simple. So enough of that rant. We're going to get back ready to go. Green flag racing once again here from Talladega Super Speedway. Front of the field, familiar faces once again. And I mean, I don't know how he's managed to do this, because he was laps down 50, 60 laps ago. The 23 was moving out of the way for the lead pack. And here he is, the DraftKings machine, gonna be lining up for this latest restart. Second car, outside lane, on the lead lap. And see, more things coming up in the chat, and I'd love to get into some of these and some of my thoughts on some of them. But I'm going to leave it at this. With the intelligence of the engineers that are in NASCAR, legitimate rocket scientists, there would be a way. They would find a way where they don't switch batteries. I'm telling you. It took Formula E a little while to figure it out. They got something figured out. Not too sure I like that system, but maybe, possibly, yeah, the system like F1 might be something you get to introduce, but I'm sure somebody can figure something out on that. We're going to get to some of that possibly a little bit later on. Want to get back on track, refocus the attention as we nail the loud pedal once again, and the green flag flies here at Talladega Super Speedway. Lap 129 goes on the board. Less than 60 laps remain. Less than 120 miles. Lay out in front of these drivers. You can see the Wounded Warrior, the 88 machine, working his way back out onto the track. Sam Taylor going to be listed 3 laps down here tonight, but still out there running. Want to go through and do a little bit of house cleaning here. 23 drivers took to the starting grid here tonight. We have still got 18 out on the track, but only 15 remain on the lead lap. So an amazing job by a ton of drivers in this field. Yes, we've had our bumpy roads. Yes, we've had our mix-ups and mishaps, but look at what happens on Sunday when the big boys play. They don't do this thing caution-free either, so let's not be judgmental at all. Tell you what, you come check out iRacing.com and see how tough it is to run 2-3 wide. Even at a big open track like Talladega Super Speedway, 3 wide, lap after lap with no mental mistake, no mechanical mishap. It's hard. It's tough. And now a handful of laps after the restart, we're going to revisit some. You know, Smoke, we were having a wonderful debate and a great time. But SUV racing, bro? Come on, man. Come on. I mean, I'd love to see a pack of Escalades out here at Talladega. I mean, that would be great. I mean, that would be kind of comical. Semi-trucks? I mean, they already run a semi at Talladega. If you know, you know. We're going to move on. Do want to take the time and opportunity to thank each and every one of you tuning in, watching here tonight. We've had a steady number of people tuned into tonight's broadcast, and I couldn't thank you enough for your time, your attention, and your love. It's for everybody here that we do what we do. Without you, without your support, we would not be able to do what we do and showcase these drivers doing what they love. So again, it's not about what we do here in the production booth. It's about what you guys out there in TV land do for these drivers, these teams, these series, and these leagues. Without your support, pushing and backing them, we would not be able to bring them to you. So a big thank you to each and every one of you, whether you've just tuned in or if you've been with us all night long, working into the 3-hour mark of racing here tonight on a Thursday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Where can you go and find 3 hours of sim racing action? High speed, high stakes action. You ain't gonna find it. You're gonna find it right here. Start a minivan series. I like it. You're gonna think now y'all are really gonna think I'm crazy. Bro, 50 Dodge Caravans at Talladega. Tell me that wouldn't be a crazy race. Everybody pushing it to the limits, doing a $1.15. I mean, we'd probably have to lower the lap count to maybe like 20. But those 20 laps it'd be something. I'm just saying. All right, we're getting off track again. We've had these moments a handful of times. Oh my goodness. We've got drivers making a reemergence at the front, back to the point again behind the wheel of that iconic Budweiser red machine made famous by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Back at the front, Greg Thompson started second on the grid here tonight. Led a handful of laps, had some troubles, went to the back, and here he is once again at the front of the field, leading that inside lane. Al Likens once again out there near the front of this field. Likens in control of his destiny right now, looking to walk away from the track as your Gen 4 season champion. And he's getting right there. We're going to have about 50 laps remaining. Now the chat is just getting a little out of hand. We can't slap the soccer mom sticker on the back of them. Come on, man. You're just taking it too far. Now, if that is on one side and we put I have a terrific kid sticker on the other side of the back glass, yeah, we're gonna use real terminology here. It's not a back windshield. Just for those of you listening. Take it from a guy that deals in the glass industry. That is definitely not a rear windshield. That is called a back glass. And if you call it anything different, I don't want to know. Nonetheless, we're going to resituate ourselves in the chair here in a little bit of movement. We do apologize. A little bit of a sensitive mic, so maybe heard some of that moving around, but that's how you know we're live here. We don't mute things out. We don't cover things up. We give it to you raw each and every Thursday night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, showcasing the masters of the draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. 3 wide once again. Joe Wells looks to the top of the racetrack, but nobody gonna go with the champion. They're gonna leave him high and dry, and how about that? Thought you had friends. Think again. Man, I can't. I'm not even gonna repeat it. I'm just going on. Oh Lord. I love you guys. I absolutely love y'all. I'm just saying. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever think anything different. Dave loves y'all. Y'all are awesome. Speaking of awesome, heck of a run, heck of a recovery for that NASCAR Hall of Fame number 59 machine piloted by Darren Mack. He was involved in an earlier incident as well, and we're seeing a common theme right now, right? Drivers with troubles early, recovering, and here we are, less than 50 laps remaining. They're at the front. Got Wise inside of the top 10. Thompson leading the inside lane. Likens leading the outside lane. Both Browning in more early trouble. Halanen had early trouble as well. So, all the drivers inside of the top 10. Well, wait. Well, no, Travis Gilbert, he went up and over at one point earlier tonight. Everybody inside of your top 10 has had problems. But yet here we are. Well, Smoke, we appreciate the comment, but we're going to be modest. I'll say, and it's not me. I do what I do here. I like to have fun. I like to just say what's on my mind. I like to speak about what's going on the track. I like to give as much information about these drivers that spend so much time trying to hone their craft. And some people don't take sim racing seriously. And for those in that group, I'm going to point out again drivers that, yes, have real world experience, but really made a big name. A big name in the racing community from outside of their local tracks right here on iRacing.com. This platform exposed Ty Majeski to the racing world. It exposed William Byron to the racing world. There are Formula One teams that have put on competitions to become a development driver. That is just how serious the level of talent runs on iRacing. And I know you can probably hear me smacking on my desk right now every time I'm making a point, but for what seems to be I don't want to say a joke, but what a lot of gaming community members view as lesser, let's leave it at that, has produced some of the top tier talent in the racing world. So it is serious. It is a big deal. Where did NASCAR turn during COVID? I hate to bring that up, and we're not going to... This is one thing, anybody out there watching and listening, I don't want any COVID talk here. We're not here to get into all of that politicking. I'm not going to do it. I hope you guys follow my lead and don't do it either. But where did NASCAR turn during that time period when other sports shut down, had no avenue to go to? Where did iRacing take NASCAR? They took them back to your living room. That's where. From the driver's living room to your living room on national TV, iRacing was broadcasted. That's how serious. That's how real. Besides getting behind the wheel of an actual car on an actual track This is the closest you will get, hands down, from somebody that has sat behind of a wheel of a race car, from somebody who has got 3 championships to his name all in a row in succession. This is as real as it gets without spending millions of dollars. And we're going to shut up on that now, and we're going to move on. Great racing action still on hand here. Down the back stretch, halfway. Bottom lane starts to surge back to the point. Greg Thompson going to take back over the race lead. Al Lycan still maintaining control of that high lane, but here comes Travis Gilbert. Surprise, surprise, right? William Britton going to overstep the boundaries, get into the marbles a little bit on the high side of the racetrack, have a dust up with the outside wall. That's going to separate him from Gilbert, and that third lane will now falter and fall back in line on that outside lane. We got a big run now. Likens with a huge push and a drop to the bottom. Browning says, ejecto-cito, cuz he's going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack, take over the lead of that inside lane, and grab the top spot by the time they exit turn 2. Halfway down the backstretch, new race leader at the front once again. I don't know if Verstappen has actually said it, but I mean, it sounds like something he'd say. Grinding away, churning away behind the wheels here. These drivers eyeballing checkered flag territory. Moving in, we're going to cross the stripe. This time around, lap 150 going to go on the board. We'll have less than 40 laps now remaining here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway in the final 500, the season finale for the Masters of the Draft. Want to take this opportunity to thank all of the sponsors here with the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. Everybody from Wise Graphics, Wise Guys Construction, Buster's Corners, Little Rescue Towing, as well as U.S. Veterans Association. Want to give a big shout out, as always, to a great perennial sponsor across so many different leagues and series here on iRacing, Butt Kicker, bringing you the feel of every bump, every wisp of the wind. Their haptic transducers. Well, transducers will bring the added experience that you haven't had. Butt Kicker, feel what you've been missing. So the best beef jerky in the world, you're looking for something to carry along on a nice little trail ride, look no further than BeefJerkyUnlimited.com. Some of the best beef jerky around. Beef jerky not your thing? No worries. They've got chicken jerky as well as turkey jerky, and we got a victim on track under a green flag pit cycle. Seen it happen right there on screen. Big trouble. Caution, gonna fly. Man, Dylan Picklesheimer ate that outside wall. 59 into the 12, into the 48, and Picklesheimer will get sandwiched. Man, big trouble here, and this is going to have some implications, right? It's really going to mix up the field. We had drivers on the pit road. They didn't lose a lap, but they're going to cycle right to the front of the field. These drivers out front, they're going to give up these top spots when they come to pit road this time around. You can't stay out, right? It's a 23 to 25 lap difference. You can't afford it. Not at this time. You can't play the strategy game. You come get fuel and tires. So it looks like all the hard work for that number 2 machine will all be somewhat for naught. Right? He's going to have to reset. He's going to have to rework his way from the back to the front. He's going to give up the race lead, come into pit road. And it looks like, I believe Jason Branch is going to come out of this thing smelling like roses. I mean, we're going to take a look right here. Here you can see Jason Branch won the race off of pit road. Or, I guess these guys are still racing here under caution. Not quite sure what's going on here, but it looked like Jason Branch won that race off of pit road. I could be wrong here, but maybe they're just trying to race to get by these guys and ensure they get those spots. And there it is, Thompson, Wise, Branch, Helanen, and Gilbert. Going to be listed as your top 5. But an easy way to get to the front. And how about Scott Wise, right? 3 laps down. 3 laps down. Not 1, not 2. Heavy damage. 3 laps down. Less. Well, we'll have just over 30 laps remaining when we go back green flag racing. And he's going to be inside of your top 5. That's a real race car driver. Right? Any racer can get in the car and drive it when things are going well. It takes a real race car driver to put your chin down, your elbows up, and go get it when things ain't going right. That's a real race car driver. You know what? We got 100 laps left. It ain't over yet. That's the mentality you have to have. And again, here on iRacing, drivers are afforded a do-over with a quick fix, with a fast repair. So a little bit more lenient over here in sim world, in the virtual racing world, than it is in real life. But making the most of that opportunity is another. And a handful of these guys have utilized that opportunity to not just turn the moment around, but change the complexity of the end of this race. They're at the front of the field. They've had the issues. They've had the trouble. They've struggled to get themselves back where they are. Jason Branch, big trouble early here tonight. We said it. He wrecked the Barbie mobile. I guess Ken can fix it. Wait, no, that's Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. Never mind. Oh my goodness. So, and you know, that's another thing. If you've been here for this entire race, you haven't heard me ask yet who you got. And still with, we're going to have, what, 32, 33 laps remaining when we take the green flag. That's still too long for me to ask the question. We're going to wait till we get about 25 to go. And we'll see who you think's going to walk away with a race win. I'm putting all the chips in a basket. And I'm saying that we have a driver walk away with another crown. Listen close to what I said as we nail the loud pedal and go back. Green flag racing. A driver will capture yet another crown. The 97 is bringing it home. You're calling it now, huh? Calling it now. James Hudson sitting in the 8th position. We'll keep our eye on him for you. We'll see if he can't bring that one home. You think Travis has got it, huh? In the 2. Look, you guys are giving out information early, man. You should have kept it in your back pocket for a little bit later. And sorry, you know what? I'm going to let it out. I think Wells walks away with a 3rd trophy. He's been too good as of late to not get to victory lane. I mean, honestly, we told you that he was going to be there with less than 20 laps to go. He moved to the front with about 90 laps to go. Here we are, 30 laps to go. And where is he? Near the front. But the man out front is the man that walked into tonight's race as your points leader. He's got some points for leading some laps. And here he is, front of the field, showing the way. What about the 94 of Al Likens? Let's not forget about that man second in line outside lane. Came into tonight's race just 1 point out from being your Gen 4 championship leader coming into tonight. All right, so what's he willing to do coming down to these final 28 plus laps? And now we're going to bring out something that I have kept. I've kept it all race long. And I've been trying to not say it purposely. I've been trying to not allude to it purposely. As Gilbert going to drop from the top of the racetrack down to the bottom, take over the lead of that inside lane. That's going to shuffle Scott Wise back to battling for second and third, but that's now going to open the door for his championship competitor to the high side to lead that outside lane. It's been a long season. Along the way, Whoa, big trouble for Gilbert. Woo. White knuckle moment and a crazy mishap at the front. Woo. Hal Lycan's going to drop from the top to the bottom of the racetrack. Joe Wells going to follow and drop his machine in line as well. '93 of Daryl Johnson going to take control of that high side lane. Only 4 drivers out there for the time being. William Britton looking all the way to the high side. Contact. We got a little bit of contact here. That outside lane is going away pretty rapidly at this point. Back to what we were going to get to. And yes, I agree. What a save. Hell of a save. And not just a hell of a save, but able to hold on to essentially hang on to the lead pack. Hell of a job. It's been a long season. And Wells looks like he may be trying to head to the rear here. He may be heading back to try to pick up Gilbert. Oh man, could you imagine if he goes back there and picks him up and they work their way back to the front? We got a storyline developing. Anyways, let's get what we're trying to say out here, man. Stay focused, Dave. Stay focused. It's been a long season. Race number 20 here. There's been bumps gone bad. There's been iffy situations. Have any of these drivers kept those quote unquote payback moments in their back pockets for tonight? Has anybody held on to, I don't want to call it a grudge, but you know what? I was right there ready to do this or right there ready to do that. And this particular driver did me dirty. From their standpoint. Will pay back become a factor? And the hard part about restrictor plate racing, and especially these Gen 4 machines, you can make payback look like a racing incident rather easily. And I'm not trying to give any of you drivers, I know some of you out there, I know some of y'all are sneaky. I know some of y'all try to have us going in the background while you're racing and running. I'm not putting ideas into your heads. Just saying. You can give a little harder bump with these machines because they don't line up with the front and the rear of the cars. You're really able to jack up the driver in front of you in the sense of literally lift their rear tires off the ground. Holy sugar, look at this. We about got ourselves in trouble there, guys. Travis Gilbert. Dude's a freak. From almost a second back, from almost losing this entire lead pack after a huge save getting jacked up off of turn number 2. Here he is, pushing a third lane and making progress. Help from his good buddy William Britton. Gilbert, oh, that almost got close. No choice but to drop down and leave Britton alone on the high side. Charging back to the front once again is Travis Gilbert. And he's going to drop straight to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to drop to the bottom here. Looked like he tucked in line for a moment with Andrew Moore, thought better of it, jumps to the high side, and here he comes. "22 laps to go. Oh, we got beaten and banging at the front. Scott Wise and Travis Gilbert going to go at it. They're going to bang doors on the entry to 1 and 2 close side drafting action. And oh, they're going to get together again and again. And they're going to come together again, and that's not going to go over well. Scott Wise going to spin out, avoid contact with the outside wall, but a little bit, I don't want to say shenanigans, but we got some issues on the track. Caution flag going to fly for the 14th time here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway in the final 500 for the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. And with that being said, we're going to take yet another commercial break, pay a few of these sponsor bills as we look to the end of tonight's race and look to crown a king in the Gen 4 series. We'll see who gets the job done. We'll see how they go about it. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
In backtrack side, with less than 20 laps remaining here at Talladega Super Speedway, what started off as a 188 lap event has now dwindled down to under the final 20 laps. The final 50 miles of racing. Doing it for Dale behind the wheel of that number 64 machine. Looking to get back to victory lane. Hasn't seen victory lane in quite some time. William Britton looking to secure his 4th win on the season. It's right around the corner. It's right there, hung out in front of him. Will he be able to get it done? Got a big field of hungry drivers tucked in line right behind him. Some big names: Branch, Likens, Thompson, Wells, Drift. All right here within striking distance. And as we've said, anything can happen. It's Talladega. The storm is a brewing, and I promise you, things gonna get heated over these final 18 laps. Mark my words, you heard it here from me. Things about to go down at Talladega. Green flag flies as Britton nails the loud pedal, fires things off, and we get back racing once again here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, still tucked up on the high side. Thompson all over the rear deck lid of Jason Branch, just out in front of him down the backstretch. Re-roll heading into turn number 3 once again, side by side, 3 wide now for the race lead. I told you it wasn't done. I told you it wasn't over. And we weren't playing and we weren't lying. 3 wide stacked up front of the field, looking for the race lead. Side by, whoa, contact! And William Britton, what a save. Holy sugar. Man, we almost did it again. I don't know how. I don't know how some of these guys, man, are making these saves. Britton was all but gone. Somehow got the car corrected in that slide, man. And man, wow. We haven't seen a lot of them at the front of these restrictor plate races, but having a good night here tonight, late in the going. Less than 20 to go, 16 laps remaining, and Jason Branch has emerged on scene, up 17 positions from where he qualified, all the way back from 18th to 1st. Can he bring home a championship trophy to the Dream House? It was definitely, man. Definitely sugar. Definitely. I mean, you know the song goes, "Oh, sugar, sugar." You know what I'm talking about? Like, no. we're gonna move on anyway. Man, oh man, you caught me. You caught me. But I mean, what else am I supposed to do, right? I mean, you seen it? It's a one hell of a save. Like, come on, what you want from me? Oh, big trouble. Oh, big hard impact. Big impact there for Greg Thompson. It's gonna blow the entire left front quarter panel off of the machine, and we're gonna stay green flag racing here. Racing officials not throwing that caution flag. We're gonna keep it green flag racing here. And that's gonna be big trouble for Thompson and big trouble for Darren Mack. And we're gonna go 3 wide at the front with Jacob Drift on the high side now. The Drift King making an appearance on the scene. Travis Gilbert back to that middle lane. Jason Branch leading the bottom lane. Drift went from the high side to the middle all the way now down to the bottom. Zach Lanen going to take over control of that middle lane. And we got quite a bit of a breakaway here. 1.3 seconds back, you can see Joe Wells kind of in no man's land running by himself. And I think he may be playing it safe here. I think he's looking at what's going on up here at the front and just how, I don't want to say pushy, and I don't want to say careless, but let's say how aggressive. How aggressively unapologetic these moves are starting to become. And Wells wants no part of it. He's going to get that 3 machine to the end of this thing. It's not going back on a hauler. But some of these guys throwing caution to the wind right now. And saying, it's there, I'm taking it. And if it ain't, you gonna give it to me. And you're playing a dangerous game when you start having those thoughts and outlooks at restrictor plate racing. 3 wide across the line. Couldn't call the race leader with the naked eye. They're gonna give it to Travis Gilbert at the top of the speedway. Lined up with William Britton in tow behind him. Jason Branch right there contacting Britton into the outside wall. Britton into the outside wall. That's going to break up the run for a moment. Joe Wells back in the mix. 1.3 seconds back. Now right here running with the lead pack. Man. I'm telling you. I'm getting tired, guys. There's just been way too much going on. Moves all night long. 3 wide racing for the majority of tonight's race. At the end of this thing, where we're 100%, I'm willing to bet if you go back and you count the laps and you count the 3 wide, I guarantee you we're at about a 75% rate that we've been 3 wide here tonight. And not just 3 wide for one position, 3 wide for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. We're 3 wide, 3 rows deep, with only 12 drivers on the lead lap and 12 drivers in this lead. Again, it shows you the intensity that these drivers approach these races with. It shows you the commitment that they have to be the best. They could have laid down and went home an hour ago, 2 hours ago. They could have had trouble, said, you know what, I'm good, and went and watched it from the hauler. They could have chose to say, I'm going to ride around here until our caution around a lap 120 or so, and then I'm going to race. But they haven't. They've kept the true racing mentality all night long. They've been mixing it up 2, 3 wide, multiple rows deep, beating and banging, pushing on the bumpers. Crazy racing action, and we are now down to under. Excuse us, the voice is starting to go on us. Over 3 hours of straight talking. It'll kind of do that to you sometimes. Now I feel bad for teachers and people that give lectures. Whew. Anyways, now off subject. Less than 10 laps remaining. Well, we'll have 8 to go this time by. We were to pit road. Back on lap 68. 168. Essentially 20 laps ago. Or 20 laps to the end of the race. Drivers should have enough fuel. Jason Branch from the front to the tail of this lead pack. There's something brewing, and I can feel it. See it. We've stopped the 3 wide for whoa, and Jason Branch gonna go right into the middle. A little bit of contact there. A little bit of contact between Branch and Wise. Maybe not very happy with each other. Maybe a little hot under the helmet. And a big move from Wise to go from that mid lane all the way to the high side. Looks to take over the race lead by running to the high side. Well, Gilbert maybe jump to the high side. We've seen him multiple times push it to that top side. Wise going to hit the outside wall, just a little bit of a scrape. That's going to do just enough to slow him down, allow that middle lane to surge forward just a little bit. But coming across the stripe this time around, we'll have 6 to go. High five for the boss man of the flag stand. This time around, we'll see 5 laps to go here tonight in the final 500 for the Masters of the Draft, brought to you by the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. Lap cars out front of your race leaders. They're going to move to the bottom of the racetrack. Allow the leaders to race this thing out without any interference. Scott Wise going to take control of that middle lane. Jason Branch, 4 wide. 4 wide, now down to 3 wide. Andrew Moore going to back out of that one, and he's going to lose a little bit of ground and momentum here. Give up 2, now make that 3 positions as he heads back behind Joe Wells. Looked like Jason Branch wanted to take the shot, then thought a little bit better of it right there at the last moment. He's going to back out of that one. That's going to force Moore to the tail end of this lead pack. Scott Wise going to drop from that outside lane down to the bottom. That's going to put Gilbert in control of the high side with Jason Branch right behind him. Heavy, hard side draft on the exit of turn 2. to 3 wide racing with less than 3 laps to go. We're going to see popsicle sticks on display this time by drivers going to make their way through 3 and 4. Joe Wells, close quarters racing. Ooh, man, things getting dicey. Trying to get to the bottom, not going to get there. Ooh, things getting a little bit hectic as we cross the line this time around with 2 to go. Popsicle sticks go on display for your race leader out front, showing the way. Scott Wise looking for another Gen 4 win and looking for a championship crown. Al Likens still in the mix, running in 10th. He's at the back of this pack right here. Joe Wells right here in position, 3rd car, inside lane. If something happens in front of him, he could potentially walk away with yet another championship crown. We'll have the white flag in the air this time around. It's going to be 1 to go. 2.5 miles of racing to determine who will walk away with the Gen 4 championship crown. Wells positioning himself to the high side. Here comes the run. Here comes the help. Off of turn number 2, stacking them up on the high side. Big run here. Will Wise try to cover him? Big push from behind, and that's going to get Wise just loose enough. Can Wells get it done? High side, 1 car. Length advantage. Does he go to the bottom? He keeps it to the top. Big block. Holy Jesus, what a big block. Big block by Wells on that 93 of Daryl Johnson. Contacted a move from Wise underneath the yellow line. And the race win is going to go to Scott Wise, but with a move beneath that double yellow line, we're going to have to see how it plays out. We're going to have to see where this thing actually shakes down. Man. Oh boy. I don't know. Tell you what, let's check the replay. Let's go back to, we got the, and we're going to slow it down just a little bit more for you. Let's see. Oh, and it looks like Daryl Johnson may get the checkered flag, but depending on race officials' decisions, Wells may have gotten it done. Man, that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a rough one to call. You never want to put things in the hands of officials if you can help it. But we don't know. So, in saying we don't know, we're going to step away for a brief commercial break before we come back and talk to your overall season champion. We'll see if we can't get the rest of things sorted out, but we're going to take this opportunity in a moment as he enjoys celebrating his season championship. We're going to take a moment to step away for a brief commercial break, come back with a little talk with your champion. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. And we're going to bring you right back in trackside and with, oh my goodness, with a crazy finish here tonight. We're going to let race officials sort those things out. So we're going to dive into the one thing we do know. We're going to take this moment and opportunity to catch up with the man that was racing for bragging rights, racing for pride here tonight, behind the wheel of that gold wrap number 3 championship winner. Joe Wells, man, hell of a season first and foremost. You came into tonight already with that season championship, the overall championship in your back pocket, and you raced like it was still on the line. Hell of a job, and that's how you get stuff done, man. Amazing season, amazing job. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm really happy to have that second place finish there, and I'm really happy for Daryl to get the win there. But man, it was a great season overall. I'm really happy to, man, I'm just elated. I'm really happy to walk away with the championship. I mean, 20 weeks, obviously a couple off weeks. I'm really happy. I'm really glad to have the support system I have with my teammates at GLM and Krishan and all my teammates at TNT as well. I mean, damn, man, I can't thank any of these guys enough. I really appreciate all these guys. I really genuinely cannot do without them. So I'm really glad to get the number 3, another much needed championship.
Well, man, you kind of mentioned some of it. We're going to go over a little bit of it here real quick. You said missing a couple races, so taking that 20 weeks down by, let's just call it 3, just for good math purposes. Then you walk away without really even having to show up tonight. As we said when we first came.
When I said that, I meant like the off weeks that we had with the holidays. I participated in all 20.
Okay. I was like, man, this guy really put it on him then.
No, I ain't that good. I can't do it in 17.
Come on, man. The results speak for themselves, Joe. Don't give me that I'm not that good stuff. I ain't trying to hear it. I mean, 20 weeks of racing, you have 17 top 10s. You're not that good. Get out of here with that. I ain't hearing it. I don't care what you say. I don't care.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, getting those top 10s and having that consistency is really key. I mean, a massive component to that is having the teammates that I do in TNT and GLM, Al, Daryl, Dylan, William, James, Sam. Who else am I forgetting? Travis. I can't forget Travis. Krishan as well as my co-founder of GLM. He was helping me in the car tonight, giving me a little bit of spotting, and all those guys that have worked with me throughout the season. I mean, this championship is not won by a single driver today. I mean, it's really a collection of a lot of drivers' effort tonight. So I'm elated to get this championship tonight.
Well, Joe, I know your fellow teammates will definitely appreciate the words. I mean, it's been one long, crazy season jumping across so many different machines. All right, we visited almost all of them. Well, on the NASCAR side of things, I won't say all of them because there's quite a bit on the platform, but you know what I mean. If there was any particular race that stands out to you that really solidified the championship year for you, is there any one car or track that you thought that you were just on?
Well, I would say winning the 87 championship, definitely the sub championship, that is definitely really helped my case. I feel like staying consistent through that block in which a lot of people weren't able to do so really helped. But I really think, the turning point of the season was getting that first one in the Xfinity car and having Travis push me to that win at Atlanta. I really think right then and there, I mean, obviously with that, I went back to back, got 2 wins in a row. I think right then and there, that was the big turning point on the season and really taking off with it from there. So I think that was both of those instances are really a big credit to my momentum in this season in the points.
Well, man, we've said it multiple times with you throughout the season when we had the opportunity to talk to you. We've said it multiple times here tonight. One hell of a season for yourself, your crew, as well as your teammates. As you mentioned them, it's not just you. You get the job done with the help of all of your teammates. So congratulations to them just as well. Man, we look forward to catching up with you in the future. We'll see what the next season holds for not just the series, but you as well as ourselves here at the network. And hopefully it all culminates and comes back together and we get to talk to you again. But for the final time here in season number 1, as your overall season champion, we're going to step back, hand you the mic, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, first off, Dave, I can't thank you enough, man. I mean, you did a fantastic job in the booth throughout the season. So I'm really glad to have you become friends with you over the course of the season and have many opportunities to speak in the booth with you. So really appreciative of you and Turn 3 Network and everything that you put on. Can't thank the sponsors enough. Little Rescue. Man, I'm on cloud 9 right now. I'm probably missing some sponsors. But Turn 3 Network, Little Rescue, the U.S. Veterans Poll Award. I mean, just the Masters of the Draft in general. Thank you to all those guys. Again, every single member of GLM, whether you're in the league or not, every single member of TNT. I mean, I love you guys. I really cannot thank you guys enough for the love and support that you guys showed me over the course of the past 20 weeks to help get this championship. I mean, really, I owe it to every single one of you guys. You guys know who you are, and I'm really, really, really thankful to have you guys on my side on the racetrack. So thank you to you guys. Yeah, I mean, always want to do it for Dale, right? Race hell, praise Dale. Really happy I got a second place finish today. You know, it's nice to get another podium. Wanted to finish second, so that's really nice. And it's really awesome to see Daryl get his third win in the 3 races that he was able to participate here in the Gen 4 Cup sub championship. So glad to see Daryl get another win as well. So man, I can't speak enough. I'm not sure what the points are looking like as far as the Gen 4 Cup goes as well, but hopefully that goes my way as well with the whatever that finish was tonight. But can't thank you enough, Dave. Can't thank my teammates enough. You know, just a lot of those guys out on track. It's more than just the TNT and the GLM guys. There's a lot of guys out on track that are extremely talented that worked with me throughout the season. I'm extremely thankful for everyone. Man, I'm on cloud 9. I just can't believe after 20 weeks I was able to put together a run like this. I'm very proud of myself and really excited and can't thank you again enough, Dave. So thank you so much.
Well, Joe, again, it's been our pleasure all season long, my man. Well-deserved wins, well-deserved championship. Until next time, as we've said many times this season, stay safe and keep it fast.
Yes, sir, Dave. I'm glad to win this championship with you. Thank you, man. Raise hell, praise Dale.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the man that's gonna walk away. The overall season champion here in season number 1. And he got the job done before he even started the car here tonight. Joe Wells going to stack up those top 10s. He's going to stack up those top 5s. Walk away with 2 race wins this season. 1 mini season championship in the overall season championship. A possible second one, depending on how things play out with the points here tonight. And we're going to let race officials get all of that worked out and sorted out. And we're going to get you a special bulletin sometime in the next day or two to bring some attention to who walked away with the championship for the Gen 4 mini season. But job well done to your overall season champion behind the wheel of that number 3 machine, the Keller, Texas native, Joe Wells, gets it done. He will celebrate for a long, long time coming. And what a night, what a race, what a season. And you can hear producers in the background hitting those familiar sounds and buttons. This is where we would typically run down your unofficial race results, but we're going to take this time an opportunity just to talk to you. heck of a season, 20 weeks long, average drivers, 22 a race, week in, week out. An amazing series, an amazing season. Over 10 drivers to victory lane in the 20 weeks of racing. It was hard to get to victory lane. It was hard to win those championships. If you're looking to get with a league full of high caliber, talented drivers, look no further than the National Association of Stock Car Virtual Racing. You find them on iRacing.com. Check them out in the league directories. Big shout out to all of the sponsors that made things possible this season. Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, your original Intimidator spot. If you're in the market for some new wheels, check them out to get your next ride at DaleEarnhardtChevrolet.com. Butt kicker, as always, beef jerky unlimited at a work RP as well as under the radar. Want to thank Premier Racing Setups, Buster's Corners, Little Rescue Towing, Wise Graphics, and Wise Guys Construction. What a season, what a night, what a race. That's going to be it for us. We're going to roll up the cords and cut off the lights. But until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay loved, and we'll meet you in turn 3.